Do you think that's a little bit like a game of chicken?
And then you're right, maybe a game of chicken.
And he's not listening to me.
If you're not listening, you're getting really worked up, and it's hard to communicate with you when you go a million miles a minute.
That's saying that I'm subconsciously racist.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. It is Wednesday, April 27th, 2022, and we just finished the 9th episode of Survivor 42, Game of Chicken. Might be a bit of Game of Chicken here, Jaemeel. I'm Dave Mader, joined with Jaemeel Robinson here on Super Mader Brothers Podcasting, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch, or you might be listening to us on the audio version. And we see here tonight, 2 people get voted out of Survivor 42. 2, Jaemeel. We see Roxroy, and eventually we see Tori, both originally from the Ica tribe, which with leaving Romeo and Drea as the final 2 Ica members who've not been on the same page. But lot to break down in this episode. Lot happened in this 1 hour. I was impressed with how much they fit into this 1 hour.
Oh yeah, very much so. But before we start, I've always held belief in this one simple principle. Nobody, not a single soul in this world, is above an ass whooping. And what I mean by that is that one must understand that they need to keep themselves humble in what they say, and what they do, and what they think. And this episode was a prime example of a lot of people who need a humbling. We're gonna
go through them all. We're gonna talk about these castaways and how it's going out there here on I guess this was day 17 of this tribal, and we're gonna talk about who's humble, maybe who's not so humble, and who's perhaps has an ass whooping coming their way. We're gonna figure all this out tonight. Okay, so let's just start at the beginning because I don't know where else to start.
Where else to go?
Where else do we go here? We have Romeo and Hai, I think, are a big part of tonight's episode. They were very much featured.
Yep.
And so it started off with Romeo had written down the one rogue vote. Oh, Jeff's jumped in here.
What?
Jeff Mader.
Hey man,
What's going on?
You're a trooper.
Let me just pop these in.
Jeff's been unwell. He's on the mend right now.
Okay. Hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yes, we can.
Why is that not working?
Can you hear us? That's the better question.
I think he can hear us. One sec. I'm glad I'm drinking tonight.
What are you having?
Jack and Coke. It's my
Jack and Coke.
Social drink of choice.
Oh, I never was a Jack Daniels guy. I could never get into that. I always had that bourbon flavor. I guess I don't care for.
Okay.
Unless it's in Chinese cooking.
I just like the heat that I get from my chest from it.
Yeah, it will give you the heat. If you're into the heat, it's good. Jeff, are you set up? Jeff, can you hear me?
And he's not listening to me.
Yeah, no.
He'll get himself situated in a second.
Yeah, I think Romeo and Hai is where we left off. So they start out the episode. What a relationship. There, Jeff. Are you back?
Yep. What's going on?
You can hear us. We can hear you. So how are you feeling?
I'm all right. I mean, better than last night.
That's good. We lost ball hockey without you. We lost 6-1.
Right.
Foster
at least he scored a goal.
Yeah, Foster scored it from center.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, he just kind of he just dumped it into the zone and it went in. And so
nice.
Yeah. But I digress. Jeff, we're talking about Survivor 42, episode 9, Game of Chicken. And we need to figure out here what all the things that broke down. Jaemeel was saying that some people maybe not so humble out there, maybe deserving of an ass whooping. He alluded to.
I said that everyone, every single soul in this world, like no one is above an ass whooping. And when I say that, I mean me, you, your mother, every single person needs to understand that at any point, like, we are not as big, we are not as good as we think we are. And and understand when I'm saying that, I'm applying that to a ton of people. I say characters, but a ton of people on this show, because it's what we're presented from the editors. And from the very beginning, I and Romeo and this this back and forth that seems so inconsequential, right? It's
in the grand scheme of things.
They're just kind of measuring their penises, right?
Their feud is interesting because they started off kind of being friendly with each other and say, oh, we have like so much in common, but then we have like these differences about being gay and like how out or not out the two of us are. And then they became like sort of bitter enemies after this last tribal, especially with Romeo, who was kind of on the outs, was the backup vote out unless Chanel had not played an idol, or was actually, in case she had played an idol, was sort of the idea here. And so he was like, well, whatever. I was the next expendable to go. I wrote down High's name because I don't like High. High stole away Drea from me. And so I'm not happy about that. So like High was all back at camp, was like, we need to get Romeo out. He's the snake. I don't trust him, blah, blah, blah. Even that was kind of bleeding into the next morning. But we also saw Roxroy's like, guys, we got to start the all guys alliance here. That's how it's going to go. But like, I was like, they were like, we had 5 not Romeo. He's not one of the 5. He would be Omar, but Omar was having none of this either.
Rox is so basic.
Yeah.
He's the very definition
Survivor of season 1.
Yeah, Rox gets voted out here tonight eventually. And the optics of that, I don't think we can get into like the whole thing that happened with Drea and Marianne, sort of, and the whole like that group of 5 at the end. But Roxroy kind of gets voted.
You mean when Marianne stomped Andrea's kind of moment? Like, I don't know. That whole thing bothered me, but we'll get to it.
Oh, so you thought Marianne was like, I'm tacking onto this. I have an idol too, and I'm going to use
100%. 100%. That was like Drea's moment, and Marianne ruined it completely. It was rough to watch.
I think we have a totally different perspective.
It's an interesting perspective. Like, I thought that it was like
and his just inability to read the room.
Who, Jonathan?
Jonathan cannot read. I actually think Jonathan has no chance of winning Survivor right now from this episode.
I don't feel like this is right because y'all are coming at this as like we're racist.
Yeah. Yeah, when he said that, I was like, oh shit, he actually said that. I couldn't believe he said it out loud.
Yeah.
Like, I could understand him thinking it, but to see in front of the jury too.
Yeah, in front of the beginning, that's all they're gonna be talking about for the whole rest of the jury until he gets voted out. And then, like, just the whole, she was like, "I'm not being aggressive."
Don't make it seem like I'm being aggressive.
No, you are being aggressive.
No. Don't call a black woman aggressive. You don't.
No,
especially when she's saying, "I'm not being aggressive." Especially, like, it was like the exact wrong thing he could say here. I
wanted to call this is like if this was a baseball, hockey, any type of game, the coach would have already been signaled for timeout. Timeout. We need to stop.
Timeout.
Oh my gosh.
Right. It was Jonathan's whole perspective in this game. Yeah, I think going forward is going to be different after this tribal, because this is kind of like what the jury's going to take from it. Yeah.
He also talked down to Lindsay for like about an hour. Like it was rough to watch. His whole game tonight was rough. I was like, "Oh, I drafted you. I thought you were better than this. I thought you just had a thing with Marianne."
I was rooting more for Jonathan before this, but he really didn't do so well.
If you're not listening, you're getting really worked up, and it's hard to communicate with you when you go a million miles a minute.
I'm just looking at this from a purely Survivor standpoint, not even a socially. I'm not even getting to that point. But Jonathan's game got tanked tonight because when you're talking about someone who's going to take Jonathan to the end, and you're thinking Rox would do it, Mike, if he stays like man strong, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Lindsay, because Lindsay was like tight with him. He'll take him further to the end. Right. He talked down to Lindsay. Mike had to make a decision for his like long-term game and had to cut Rox, and Rox is gone.
I don't think Mike voted for Rox, did he?
It didn't matter.
I know, but I think he was I think he was blindsided in this too.
No, I don't think so. I think Mike made a decision where it was either I stay with Rox or I stay with High, and he decided to stay with High. I think that's what I got from that episode. I didn't look at the vote.
Oh, he did vote for Rox, right?
Yeah. Which to me, I think he made the right choice. Like Rox's whole male strong plan works if you're all on the same page. They were not all on the same page.
No.
Right? And like the most he would have been able to get out of that was maybe a vote or two. And that was done. Right? Idols, advantages, and plus sheer Romeo, High, and one more. The other flip.
Omar?
Omar. They were not going to stick with this. It made no sense for them, and they all gave the appropriate reasons as to why. Because there's no way they're beating Jonathan in like the final immunities. There's no way. So why would they even chance it?
Yeah, I know it does make sense, and Omar explains it pretty well, I think, in the episode. He was just like, "Why? Okay, what's in this for me? Why would I want to do that and put myself in a weaker position when I'm clearly got stronger ties with all kinds of people in this tribe, and so it doesn't really matter."
Who's he talking to? If Colby was there, maybe if Colby was there, but like Omar's not Colby.
Well, yeah, I kind of understand sort of like this perspective of, I guess, if you're Mike and High, and you're the only two left from the original the Green tribe, basically the Vati. They need to pair up with somebody, and like maybe if you're Mike, you're saying, well, Jonathan's good because I'm getting along with Jonathan, and then maybe he brings Omar because they're both from Taku, and I guess Roxroy, he's the other guy we're gonna throw into this, but like what you got Tori and Marianne and Drea, like that's who you're gonna run out, and Lindsay, I guess, be the biggest threat maybe from the ladies, but
like Lindsay is more of a physical threat than Romeo. So
for sure, yeah, Lindsay's one of the top threats.
Right.
So and Lindsay is more of a hard worker than others. The only reason, like, I don't understand this thought process of, we get up and we fish and, we're like hard workers and everyone's just socializing. The reason why people are socializing is because there's more of the people who socialize left in the game, right? And everyone else is just following suit because they're trying to create prawns. Exactly what Lindsay was talking about. Jonathan, you don't understand the dynamics of these people because you do not spend time with them. He cannot get that through his head.
And when he does, he doesn't really learn who they are, what makes them tick. He kind of, from what I've noticed and observed about Jonathan, is he saves all his energy for the challenges. He goes and does, he beats the challenges out, and he's really fun to watch. I have to say, of any player to watch in the challenges, and I'm not the biggest challenge guy, but I really enjoy watching him do the challenges. Like he's a really good athlete. But having said that, if he had just a little bit of social game, he could be such a great player. But he
really lacks. That's where he really lacks. Yeah, he holds back in certain situations, but I think, like you would see that he doesn't always have the best instincts in how to deal with, especially with women in particular. He seems to, struggle there. And it's just.
Is he single? I'm very interested to know.
He might be. Yeah, I don't know. He hasn't really said one way or the other, I don't think.
Any married man watching him talk to the women tonight, you're like, oh no, Jonathan, oh no.
No, yeah, you need to practice at this more, I think. It's just like it would.
Right now, I can't. I need to know.
Right, look it up. But John, yeah, I agree. Like we could have a new spectator sport, Jeff. Survivor competitions, where it's like whatever Jeff Probst's team of guys can figure out how to cook up or whatever, some relay race with a puzzle.
Right.
And then we just have all the pros come in. Jonathan being the first pro Survivor challenge guy.
Right.
You know, which then when you throw a bunch of average kind of Americans types in there, I don't know how impressive.
No, what you do, Dave, this is what you do. You do American Gladiators meets Survivor challenges.
What about just a season of Survivor with all American Gladiators? And
that'd be something else. Although it would be very one note, you know.
Yeah, I don't think socially it would be that fun, but like competition wise, it'd be.
We have Blade. We have Laser. We have Blazer.
Yeah. We got Nitro.
Nitro.
They had all kinds of fun names back on American Gladiators. But this challenge tonight, like, okay, just in terms of how it's the challenge where you got to like step onto this platform in the water that's a floating buoy, and you got to hold on to the sides with just barely enough like room on these little slats of wood to hold your toe and maybe an inch of your foot, basically, right? And then you're supposed to move up eventually. That wasn't even necessary in this challenge. Nobody, like, I don't know how long the whole thing went, but because it was like a rocky, windy day in the water, this was extremely challenging. I think they did this last season, and I don't think it was this hard as we saw tonight. And so just in terms of like, first off, the groups of 5, because the challenge was, okay, you're going to get into groups of 5, and then only within those groups of 5 randomly picked, you will have to vote somebody out. But whoever wins, somebody will win in each group of 5, and whoever is the very last man or woman standing for their 5 will win the what was it? Beef and veggies, or chicken and veggies, or something like that.
Chicken and veggies.
Yeah, I think it was chicken and veggies. Which we saw a little bit on there.
Chicken and veggies, which will just fuel you for the immunity challenge. Or if you really have a craving for sugar, you can have that. And you say you want a loved one letter. I can't figure it out. All right, let's do it.
So, confirmation: the dude is single, has no kids.
Of course.
Okay.
Oh Lord.
He works out a lot.
Yes,
he works out a lot. And his dad pushed him.
Yeah, his hobbies include, or 3 ways to describe him. Sorry, his hobbies include working out, spearfishing, and surfing, and describes himself with 3 words: devotion, endurance, and mentally strong, which is 2 words.
Devotion to what?
I think he's a Christian.
Devotion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When I was young,
that is interesting.
My dad used to wake me.
They don't talk about religion as much on Survivor.
Oh, minus Tori as she left.
Tori was thanking God and something rather.
Thank you, Jesus.
Jesus, yeah, there's a few religion. Sometimes they have like often really religious players, but sometimes they put that more into the show. And others. Yeah, Marianne's a seminary student, but that doesn't really even come up very much for her.
Right. You know? Marianne, we'll get to her. Tori.
Yeah. She was in the other group of 5. So it's Jonathan and all women. Lindsay, Marianne, Andrea, and Tori. That was how they ended up in the other group. Whereas the other group was all men. Hi, Romeo, Mike, Roxroy, and Omar.
I mean, all right. The question is, do you guys like this twist? They've done it a few times where they get the 10 in the merge and they split them up anyway. I don't know. What's the point of merging?
I don't really. Yeah, because basically you have 3 jury, because this is an accelerated format, right? And we're on day 17, and this is going to end at 28, right? Or 26. So there's only 9 days left, I guess. And so they're like they're quickly getting down to like, we have 3 jury members after 2 days merged, basically. Which I think is
4 now.
3, right? Oh no, yeah, 3. Chanel, Roxroy, and now Tori being the 3rd juror.
Oh yeah, you're right. I stand corrected.
Yeah, but they'll probably vote out somebody tomorrow, like in day 18 at the most, right? Right. So they're moving fast through the game, and so the twist. The thing with the twist is, I think it's so random because you might have your alliance or whatever. And, this forces you to no longer have that safety net because you, depending on how things end up, you might get voted out here unless you have an idol or something else. And I think because they have so many idols in play and so many twists and amulets and whatever the hell that people are going to pull out of their ass and the shots in the dark, they're like, we have to like put the pressure on more here, right? And make people use their advantages or not.
Because those advantages were going to sit for like another couple of episodes. Yeah. So this kind of forces people, right, to use them. They got both idols like taken out.
Yeah, indirectly, that's what happens here. Is we see like at least 2 idols get used tonight.
Great news.
Yeah, but only one of them should have been played. Like the other one was so stupid.
No, I think
Drea was okay with it. I think she was
no. Drea was fine. Marianne did not need to play her idol. It was the most stupid thing. What's that?
She had to.
I don't.
I think she had to.
I think she had to threaten. All she had to do was threaten. But like the fact that they didn't even go up and vote, like in the way that this whole went down, was so weird.
No, they've done it before. They've done it before where they just take the votes at face value.
Yeah, we don't even have to vote. Was everyone just wanted to decide here?
Yeah. When Brandon was gone, everyone's like, Brandon's gone. We're all voting for Brandon.
Well, that was a little different. He was threatening to hurt somebody. True. You know, like. This one was weird. Like she didn't even vote. She just went up and threw a dice in a thing and came back. Like that, that was it.
The other one was
Marianne kind of mentioned that she's not voting for, like she's going to use an idol, and it was only Torian thing, and everyone kind of laid their cards at the table. If I was like Marianne or Jonathan, I'm like, I'm not telling you who I'm voting for. I'm going to vote it. Thing. Jeff probed them in a way. And they just gave up the goose, right? You didn't need to put your cards on the table at all. Say, we're ready to vote. Let's just go and vote. Should have just cut him off right then and there.
I agree. Yeah, but once it started becoming about race, he's going to allow the contestants, I think, to work that out. That's kind of how I saw it. So he kind of took a step back. I feel like Jeff did, because it was an emotional moment.
He's like, this is a great TV moment. Here we go. Mary Bass saying, I think both of them using it was dumb because all they had to do was use their extra votes. And that's true too.
No. Once again, with this shot in the dark, and plus the Drea using her idol makes a lot of sense from the first component of it is, right? She doesn't know this tribe as well, and the people on the tribe. They know that she has advantages, right? Not all of her tricks are known to everyone. And then plus the optics of what she just saw with Rock, she shook. So yes, I understand her using her idol because one, she still has her extra vote. She still has her amulet. Yeah. And she also has her advantage that she can, the stealing advantage, right? That she still has.
Yeah, she still has that. She has a lot in her pocket. So to do this at the tribal and let people think she doesn't have the, well, she wouldn't, like, to burn the idol and just say, done.
Makes
I don't
perfect
need it.
sense because
right.
One, if let's say Marianne doesn't use her idol, she can always take that idol. Marianne is obviously has it. She could just take it from her. Second thing is, if her idols goes back onto the island and someone wins it, and someone's dumb enough to tell anyone, she can get that one too. She doesn't even have to work for it. So
right. How much of this was okay? Here's the question I have for Drea tonight: was how much of this was strategic? Right? She knew she was on the bottom. She had a good chance, thinking that she's the target tonight. Or how much of this was like, oh my God, like Roxroy got voted out? What is this? Was she really? It seemed genuine, right?
Didn't she vote Chanel out?
Yes.
Yeah.
So why was other than the fact that he's black, why was Roxroy going home such a shook moment for them? Was it just that? That's the only reason?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it happens. It happens. I know that it might be difficult, but when you walk into a public place, or when I walk into a room, public place, and I look around and I'm like, damn, I'm the only black person here, right? I will say that internally, I will recognize that because, right, my life I've had experiences where it's been very present and been presented to me as such. So it's usually at the back of my mind, right? When she goes and she's like 1, 2, and then she's like, oh damn. Like optically, people talk about this, right? People do talk about this. So like 3 in a row? Nah, I can't let it be 3 in a row. It can't be me. All right. Right. Also, she has an idol. Oh no, you gotta play it. You don't want to be James, Gravedigger James, right? All these things start coming back to you. So I can absolutely understand that.
I can understand that part. But the thing to me is like both Marianne and Drea voted Chanel out. Then the next vote, you get a kind of a blind side here where Roxroy gets voted out when they expected Romeo to go. Now, had Romeo gotten voted out, I don't think we get this tribal council at all.
You're right.
Right.
You're right.
And Roxroy got voted out for, I think, real legitimate reasons that had nothing to do with him being black at all. Right. He was trying to create alliances and he was pissing off High and whatever. And, there was all these things. And Chanel got voted out for all completely other reasons. And it was that there's a randomness to this, right? And so like I think that it's but it wasn't, I don't even think it was like the subconscious, like we have to get the black people or any POCs out of here.
But you have to understand, even in randomness, a pattern can occur, right? Whether it's intentional or not.
Right.
And some people are more sensitive to being a part of that pattern than others. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, if I was Drea, I'm totally using my idol. I'm like, I am not going home. There's no way it's going to be, I'm going to go look on Twitter at the end of this episode to see 3 people voted out back to back to back. No way. No way I'm letting that happen to me. So
I agree. I agree totally with the Drea angle. I thought Drea's story and the way she told it and everything, I was like, all right, I understand where she's coming from. Marianne straight up bothered me tonight. Bothered me. Like, I was just like, oh my God, just stop talking. Like, I don't know. It was, to me, like, you saw 2 different people tell their story completely. They're trying to tell the same story, but completely differently. And I really thought Drea told it well, and Marianne was it was a mess for me.
Marianne's narrative around it was very different and sort of like her trying to explain it to Jonathan. I was like, I don't think this is helping Marianne, the situation at all. Like, I think Drea was doing well. And I think Marianne like also just annoyed me with, like, she turns to Tori and says, I can't now vote Drea out. I have to vote you out. Basically, because Lindsay, I guess, was also not a consideration.
Which is like, you don't need to tell her. Don't. Just
don't. Mary Bass said, and then Jonathan called her aggressive.
You don't call black women aggressive. That's a mistake.
If I was there, I would be like, Jonathan.
Yeah. Don't make it seem like I'm being aggressive.
No. You are being aggressive.
No.
Like,
bro, he's lucky to get punched right there.
I'll be like, time out. I would pull him aside and like, Jonathan, you can't do that, man. What's wrong with you? I kind of felt, because let's be honest with ourselves. Sometimes we think certain things, right? Because the heat of the moment, like, Jonathan isn't saying that she's being aggressive. He feels that the dialogue is aggressive to his line of thinking. That's what he's mentally picturing and he's responding to.
Yes.
The unfortunate part is his response was also aggressive to a narrative that Drea was talking about.
Well, Drea's like, you don't get to like take this from me.
No, just because I'm saying how I feel at this moment does not mean that you can make that your problem. This is my situation, my issue. I'm addressing it the way I wanted to address it. And the reason I wanted to play was for representation, because people like me weren't represented. It just is a fact. A lot of times minorities get kicked off first in this game.
And then Marianne did exactly what she mentioned.
There's like, oh, I'll have one too, please. And yeah, like, you notice how Drea, she didn't use we. She didn't talk about her and Marianne. She just talked about herself. And then Marianne was like, yeah, we.
I agree with everything she's saying and more. It was kind of a little bit of that. Yeah, Drea was like, I think Drea was just like shook when the second she saw Roxroy, didn't know what the hell was going on. Then I think felt the pressure, the target a little bit maybe, and
She knew it was
also,
coming.
because you saw like Jeff's like, what do you think? What do you think, Drea? She's like, I don't know yet. I'm still processing it. Like, and then it became this.
Also, then Marianne goes, I cannot vote Drea. Shoot, she can hear me. She's sitting right beside her. She's like, and then it comes out and goes, I can't vote her. And then it's just like, oh my God. Like, and then her and Jonathan are two of the dumbest Survivor players I've ever watched play the game. They are so bad at just not reading the room.
Tori's not good at it either.
I would want to vote out Marianne in that moment, because not only did she confirmed to Drea before there was like some semblance of doubt that they were going to vote her out. Then she removed all doubt. It's like, you guys were going to vote me out, right?
Right.
Yeah. And then she's thinking it's going to be Chanel, Roxroy, and her as the first three members of the jury, which like, if you remember, was it Big Brother Canada 21, maybe the one with Tyler and like level 6, right? Where like was that the no, actually no, the next year, the one that was with Jackson, right? And like it was like Davon and a few different people. David, right, got voted out like 1, 2, 3, and it was just like, this is a bad look for the jury.
And the response was the cookout the following year.
Right, exactly. So I think like just all that's going through her head. Plus, they look like they were miserable in this rain tonight. They looked like they were freezing cold. It was like pretty rough. Roxroy's like, I hope you freeze, motherfuckers, in hell. You know, that rain. Awesome. Hi, and Romeo, I'm not there for you to cuddle up
to. Sour because he got played.
You got played. Oh yeah, he was like, everything's cool, Jeff. Everything's chill. Like,
one of the worst tribal council performances I've ever watched was Roxroy tonight. Yeah, like he literally was like, Jeff was telephoning it to him. Like it was basically like, oh, like, and High was saying like, oh yeah, it's you wake up one morning and then you think Plan A is gonna happen and then it's Plan B, and then like Roxroy's like, I think it's Plan A.
Yeah,
and I'm sticking to Plan A. Like it's just, it couldn't have been more telegraphed to him, and he didn't pick up on it at all.
Rox is a dude where you always play rock paper scissors with him, because he's always going to choose rock. He's just going to all the time.
Always comes with Roxroy. It's like
he's that type.
Do you think that's a little bit like a game of chicken?
Well, it's more like rock paper scissors, I guess.
He's just so. Yeah, he's Survivor 1. He's Survivor 1, and
he is old school. He's even more old school than Mike.
Yeah, Mike is like, he understands the dynamics of the game and understands his weaknesses. Like,
yeah,
I'm you know what? I didn't give Mike enough credit, and I'm really pulling that he does well in this game. I'm not saying he's going to win, but I think he has a good enough head on his shoulders that I don't particularly see people coming for him.
I think Dre's going to win, guys. I mean, that's
really Dre. I think Omar is a strong possibility. I'm really feeling still good about Omar's game and how he's being edited into this and his story in the season. And I feel like Lindsay is also this other one that could do well. Like Roxroy, like you could kind of see the writing on the wall for the whole season. That Roxroy wasn't going the distance here, but
he didn't know how to build tight relationships, did he?
No. Like, I don't think Marianne's going to win this either. Like,
tight relationships in terms of the different types of, personalities in this game, right? He knows how to interact with people like him with his same type of mentality. And other than that, no. And we saw that from day one, right? And like, he was not long for this game at all.
And then what about High? And like there's a couple other.
Messy.
He's messy. So like I think like it's Omar and not Romeo. He's messy too. So it's I feel like Drea. Omar or Drea. I feel like that they're like the two strong, or Lindsay.
And
I think
Lindsay.
Omar, Drea, Lindsay, Mike. I'll totally be fine with all.
Now I would have said Jonathan before now, and Jonathan's tonight. I can't imagine he wins this.
No, I can't imagine. I think what pains me is I think Marianne's going to go further than Jonathan.
Yeah, probably at this point. The thing with Jonathan too is I thought he was likable and everything else, and I still think he is to a degree. But I think tonight where he's like, I got immunity, guys, and I'm gonna come out, and this is where you should be aggressive. I've been holding back, and now I'm just gonna really play this. And it was like the absolute worst thing he ever could have done for his whole game. He sunk his game in like one kind of
He should have read the room and gone, what's the easy person to get out here? Tori. Okay, let's do Tori.
And he did at Tribal. He did do that where he realizes that Drea's go, what the hell? Roxroy got voted out. Chanel, Roxroy, and now me maybe. And then he's like, we have to change it. The whole whispering was going around,
and he still had like Drea on his side, like before fucking Marianne ruined it.
Right, Marianne kind of ruined this whole thing, right? Where she's like, everyone can hear me.
And he saw Drea was kind of shook by it. He should have went like, okay, Drea, let's do Tori. That would have been a smart move on his part. And then he could have done one of two things. He could have blindsided her, or he could have, just voted with her. But he didn't do that.
In all honesty, the moment that Drea said his piece, he should have said, I don't understand, and I hope to talk about this to you after Tribal. Use your idol. Everyone, let's vote. Just end it right there and just go to vote. Don't give Marianne a chance to talk, right?
Oh my God! Yeah.
Everyone was on the same page because they talked. They talked it out. We already had a discussion. Just say, let's go and vote. Anytime someone added something, let's go and vote. Let's go and vote, right? Because you don't want. There's too many. They know for the most part that Marianne has advantages in idols, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tori isn't dumb. She's going to use her shot in the dark, right? If Marianne doesn't use her idol, you have a chance that the vote is either going to go on Lindsay or go on Marianne, right?
But Marianne,
take that chance. Take that chance.
Here's the other big question I had tonight: why doesn't Lindsay play the shot in the dark?
Because she had the votes. Now she could have, anyway. But you only get one shot in the dark.
So she was like, I already have the votes. It's almost there's a 5 out of 6 chance this won't work for Tori.
Pretty good odds.
But just in case, isn't it this might be your last time? Because if there's a 1 in 6 chance she will be safe and then I'm done. So shouldn't I play too?
Here's the situation though. What happens if both them play their shot in the dark and both them become safe?
That's what Jane and I were wondering. What was going to be the situation if everyone was suddenly immune?
I would say rocks.
You have to go to rocks and then nobody's immune?
The shot in the dark rocks.
I don't know. That would have been crazy.
Okay,
would have been amazing had they brought in the other tribe and go, you have to vote again.
Okay, because hypothetically, because Jonathan is safe. Then those Marianne and Drea, they both played their idols, and then Tori plays her shot in the dark. She's safe, but Lindsay also plays the shot in the dark. She's safe as well. All 6 are safe, right?
All 5.
Or 5 of them are safe.
I don't know. Jeff would have come up with something, but
unless they decide that no one goes home, and the next Tribal 2 people from the tribe goes.
Does production just get to make it up, or is there?
No, they have contingency plans on top of contingencies. They just don't reveal them until they come up. Same thing.
Yeah, there would have been
the tie vote.
Making.
The tie vote for final immunity. The final vote. They already had a contingency, so when it came up, they were already ready for it.
What is it? Just draw rocks?
No, the third place person chooses.
The third place person,
or the third place person puts a vote in. It came up. It came up 2 years ago, didn't it?
Did it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, yeah. It just shows when you have this many advantages in the game, and you're part of this exercise to split them into groups of 5 and have these 2 tribals was to try to flush advantages out. But on the other hand, you have so many advantages in play that everyone could end up immune in a small little group like that. And especially when they're feeling unsafe, which they probably will be if they don't have the numbers. And then that's kind of what plays out here tonight, because the first one was kind of whatever, because Mike has he's the third one with the idol, and he didn't need to play it tonight. He was fine. So
Did you notice Lindsay was like in tears before the shot in the dark happened or whatever? Like she was pretty.
Yeah, she was emotional. She's like, I'm worried.
I might go home on when I never expected to go home coming into this vote, and a big reason would have been Marianne. Like if I'm Lindsay and Jonathan, I'd want Marianne out.
Yeah, it's you're getting them out in this her out in this tribal, that's for sure. But yeah, like I agree. Like, do you even want to work with her moving forward? The thing is, like, the Taku now have the numbers with her, right? Like the blue and the green tribe have both. They're down to 2 people each. We got Hi and Mike, and then you got Drea and Romeo. On
so it's 4-4.
I'm getting a bit of echo of Jeff, I think.
Okay, it's 4-4.
Yeah. Consider the tie break. So in Game Changers, it was revealed that if the jury cannot break a 2-person tie at a 3-person final tribal, the second runner-up will join the jury to break the tie immediately after the votes are cast at the final tribal.
But there was no second runner-up. Like, there would be no one with everyone would be safe in this hypothetical. So
no, I just mean like in final like they have contingencies put aside when they to make sure. So they probably had a decision to make.
That's how Wendell won.
Yeah, I remember that year where they had the tie, and like it was like because there was 3 people, and the one without a vote, who had no votes cast for them was she was a woman. She ended up voting for Wendell to win over the other dude,
Dominic,
yes, right, and that's fine. But in a situation like tonight, where there's sort of like you have a 5-way tie, basically, I think it would probably go to some kind of random. Maybe they bring in the other people who are still in the game and say you have to vote now, or we have to. You can, but
I say push it down the line, and next tribal has 2 votes.
I think that's what might be what happened here. Is that if that had happened, they would have just pushed it.
I guess, but it's hard to imagine that playing out on the show. Like to Jeff, Jeff's like, I'm snuffing a torch here. I don't care. You're not taking that away from me.
He says the monster
is hungry.
Stated, but the monster wants his pound of flesh next episode.
The monster's hungrier this year.
Yeah.
Next season, the monster may have a much, much bigger appetite.
Well, you know what? Honestly, if I was Jeff, I'll go, okay, if that's the case, no one goes home tonight. But next episode, 3 people are going out.
Or something. And no more rice either.
No more rice. And
it forces them to be in a situation. It's like, we can't, you want to force them to make a decision and people to go home. They have to. The point of the game is to eliminate people. And when too many people are saved, you're screwed.
Yeah, like, well, I hope maybe they will learn a lesson from it. Who's to say? But yeah, like it was crazy. This second tribal council was intense. I think it's one of those ones I think you're gonna remember in a lot of ways. I don't know, like
no,
just the whole. I think just Jonathan is what I'll remember about this. Is like
maybe
a man who sunk his game.
Dave, please give me the recount of last season Survivor Racial Tribal Council.
Was there one? Oh, there was. Oh, I remember. It was like Shan was like something. Blah blah blah. It was.
That's 1 year. That's like less than a year.
Less than a year, half a year.
Dude, people are not going to remember this at all.
Oh no, I'll forget Marianne's name. In 6 months.
If Drea wins,
we'll see her in Toronto.
If Drea wins, maybe. But if they don't win,
it depends on what the final ending of the season is or isn't.
What's going to happen is you're going to go onto YouTube. You're going to find the most challenging Survivor tribal councils of the new generation, and it's going to be number 6 out of like 25, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember this. That's what's going to happen.
It wasn't even that electric,
It
could have been. It was right on the edge. It was the razor's edge of fireworks were about to pop off. Like you said, like you don't call a black woman aggressive.
Just imagine if it was like someone else, like Randy, who said something said something.
Oh, that would have been something if he had been there for that.
Or Sugar, like not understanding the room, said something completely insensitive.
Or
Like
John
I don't want to
Rocker
go.
had been there.
Oh, Judd Rocker.
It could have been a lot worse.
It could have been a lot worse. Yeah.
Yeah, but and then like Roxroy in his like exit interview there at the very end, where he was like, "I was so proud to be part of that tribal council." Like he was like, it was almost worth getting voted out.
From his recount, how many times did he bring up Marianne?
What? How many times did we?
No, Roxroy. Roxroy was just on his like exit speech or his exit.
He
was talking about Drea.
Oh my god,
he was only talking about Drea. Yeah, Marianne. He was like, whatever, Marianne. Like,
Marianne is the most frustrating player to watch just in this game. She's so self-centered, and
attention seeking is.
Oh
Marianne.
God, it is so. She said in the episode, like Jonathan teaches her, she treats her like a child and brings her, this is what you're gonna do, and she was okay with voting out Drea, by the way, earlier in the episode.
And getting rid of Chanel, before, right? So but just because Roxroy was now sandwiched in there, it was
but she said something in her speech, guys, where she said, "I came on this show to fight a social injustice," or something like that. She said,
worried. She said she was worried that she would take her game to fight a social injustice.
Yeah, she would just sit there and do nothing, which I never would think from her. She's quite the opposite, which is what she did tonight. She made a big show when she didn't have to. And she kind of, like, to me, she stomped on Drea's moment. That's how I felt about it.
The episode that she would have watched last would have been what season? 40?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then 40 would be the All-Stars, the winners, and then 39 would be the one with the dude who was inappropriately touching.
Oh God, was that 39?
I think so.
39. That was 39.
Oh God, that was
so. I know I'm walking back some of what Marianne said, right? But I don't know. Like, Marianne is interesting to me overall because she seems so socially inept,
right?
But at the same time, she's so free in terms of her beliefs in her attitude and presentation of herself. Like, she's like, I don't care what people think. Yet at the same time, she also complains about how people treat her. Right. So it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Me personally, I would find her extremely grating, and I think that it would be to the point that I would want to vote her out, so I wouldn't have to interact with her anymore.
Yeah.
Her approach to this thing, I understand the feeling and the sentiment, especially after seeing what Drea said. But Jeff, I understand what you mean, where it's seemingly she bogarted the situation completely, right? And just felt like, was it the improv thing? Yes, and she yes to Andrea.
But
right?
I thought she did try to explain it on the episode where she was like, my biggest fear coming out here, and I'm paraphrasing what she said, but she's like, my biggest fear was that there was going to be some kind of an injustice, and I was just going to sit by and let it happen and not stand up for what's right.
So isn't that also a knock against Survivor and their production as well?
But it wasn't happening. Guys, it wasn't happening. Drea had already said, I'm playing my idol. And so Marianne decided to go, well, I'm playing my idol too. And you're right, Jaemeel. She did the yes and. It was extremely frustrating. And she's, to me, stomped on Drea's moment. Like, she should, and she completely tanked with her alliance. Like, she completely, went out of her way to telephone to Drea what was happening. And if I'm Jonathan and Lindsay, I want her out soon.
Yeah, I felt like for her it was almost like a Me Too moment, but not in the Me Too movement exactly, like in the sexual abuse sense, more in this solidarity, like I stand with you, Drea.
Right. That would have been nice if she had said that, but she completely stole her thunder. I thought. That's
But
how
I think I think she meant well in her own way, but it was just.
I think that you can just kind of wrap up her entire game and her attitude as well. She meant well for Marianne, right? I don't think she's doing anything maliciously.
No,
but at the same time, it's like her assessment of how Jonathan treats her kind of is how she acts a lot of the time, where it's like you're with a child and like a parent goes, "Oh, my knee hurts," and then the kid's like, "Oh my gosh, I have a paper cut. It's the worst one ever. Look, look." Right? That's what I feel like Marianne is at times. Right. And you're like, yes, I'm sad that you feel bad, but like I'm talking about the pain I had, and you just focused all the attention on you and your feelings.
Yeah, it's always like, yeah, and me too. And
here's Marianne.
That's exactly a great analogy, Jaemeel, and that's exactly correct about her. And the thing is, like, she is a good TV character. She provides a lot of conversation, because she is like, wow, like, what is going on here? Like, it's she's on like a 15, like, she's just like, there's just like, can you imagine her like on some caffeine or just something like some sort of stimulant? Oh my god.
No caffeine for Marianne, I would say. No.
Right.
Not advisable.
Marianne on cocaine.
Not advisable. I would say
where's the Eastern Seaboard? That's right. She's like, we're walking to Ottawa. Let's go. Right. It's great to have different personalities, because different personalities, different thought processes causes the show to function. If everyone thought the same, it would be an island full of Roxes and no one would debate anything. They'll just nod at each other, and that would be tribal council. It would be boring, right? You want the conflict. She's just a very grating part of the conflict.
Yes.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
For sure. Okay, what else is there in this episode that we have not touched on? Because we do have to get to our Big Brother Canada.
Honestly, I think everything else is going to be talked about next episode. The High Romeo kind of situation just got pushed 1 week, but now everyone's seeing how flippy floppy High is, right? At the same time, people are seeing how Omar is as well. Lindsay is kind of distancing herself away from Jonathan and kind of trying to play her own game. I think Lindsay and Drea are now bonded, right? Before, where it was Lindsay and Jonathan as a twosome, now it might be Lindsay and Drea. Marianne kind of has no protection except for the extra vote. There's an extra idol on the thing. I think a lot of the dynamics we're going to be seeing next episode.
Do you think that Drea and Romeo might work together again, or do you think that that's done? Because they're like the two surviving members of Ica, right? And they were tight for a time, but now they've fallen apart.
Yeah, I could see it.
It's just Romeo's kind of, not in a good position.
Could it end up like High and Mike and Romeo and Drea against the Orange Four, being Marianne and Jonathan and Omar and Lindsay?
No,
is it? We're going to be down to 8, right? So
no, I think that Orange Alliance is going to be done for after this episode.
Marianne being the first casualty, potentially,
unless Jonathan wins immunity,
right? Because he'd be the next one to get out. What do you think Tori lied to Jonathan about? Because remember when she was like, "Why do you want to vote me out, Jonathan?" He's like, "Well, basically because I'm closer to Lindsay, and because you lied to me."
That was a great plea to not be killed. Why do you want to vote me out?
He switched it around. He's lied, and then he's like, "I have a better relationship with Lindsay."
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's known her for the whole 3 weeks they've been out there together. So, versus he only went with Tori for what, 2 days?
Why? And Andrea also didn't want to vote Lindsay out, right?
Yeah, because he's close to Lindsay.
Right, like Tori, you suck at like bonding with these people. That's why you got voted out tonight. Like that's what happened.
Right. Yeah. One more question here from Mary Bass. You asked earlier: is there only one shot in the dark? So when
Once you play it, you're done.
But multiple people can play it, right?
Yeah.
There's not just
Everyone
one
has
night.
one.
Yeah. Okay, everyone has one, so there's not like, oh, I claim it first and then no one else can play it tonight.
Unless
No.
they need to further explain the rules and we kind of miss something.
But
to my
no,
knowledge-
that's
Everyone
not-
has
I-
one. Once you play it, you're done though. You don't get another
Yeah,
one.
what Jeff's explaining is what I understood it to be too. So, okay, well, I think we're gonna have to wrap up. We're gonna head over to the Big Brother Canada episode, whatever it is tonight, 24 or so, the Power Veto Week 9, and the nominations because we didn't even get those on Monday.
a
So
week to the end of the show. That's all I want to say.
yeah, it's a week till the end of this season. So we're gonna hop over there for a late night chat on Big Brother Canada 10. But thanks for being with us for the Survivor 42 episode 9 recap. A lot happened. 2 people voted out in the draft. Just quickly, I'm still alive with Omar and Marianne, feeling better about Omar. Sean's got high. Jane still has Drea and Romeo. She's still got Drea being, I think, the stronger of those two chances at winning. Daryl has Mike, and Jeff, you have Jonathan and Lindsay. So, but Amanda was officially knocked out tonight with this Roxroy thing. Or no, that was Roxroy with Liddy.
Tori.
With Tori. Anyway, so let's sign off for tonight. Check out our other podcasts, including Trivial Debates and Live Long in Podcast and our friends' podcasts, including the Hellbound podcast every Wednesday with Michael Chan and Alex Blackburn. Let's Talk About Fighting Games with Sam Jerka, also known as Eamon Mater, along with Super Smash Bros. Seth and the
Paranoia.
Paranoia. Yes, of course. They're talking Mega Man. They're talking King of Fighters. And then also check out Davin Scalehorn's podcast, my cousin and yours. He's got Locutors of Trek, as well as that's his Star Trek podcast, as well as X-Men, the animated series rewatch X-Rated. So check that out every Tuesday. They go through each episode and review that. Okay. Until then, I think we're going to sign off for tonight, and we will see you next week for episode 10, titled Tell a Good Lie, Not a Stupid One.
Jonathan.
Marianne or Jonathan are going to be doing that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you think that's a little bit like a game of chicken?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
can't believe
So
Jeff
wait.
keeps getting the titles.
All we needed was him to talk about grape soda and watermelon, and it would have been
Right. Fried chicken.
All right. Let's sign up for today.